trumpet solo from Kingston.
Stephanie, can you just shift yourself a little bit so maybe you're headed off to the corner instead of right at me? Thanks. You're not the only one I have to listen to today. I have my ears to the rest too.
Stephanie Jackson, trumpet solo from Kingston High School, playing Trumpeter's Lullaby by Imlay City.
Stephanie. There's not a lot I can tell you. You play really well. One of the things that I think I'd like to have you come out over a second, so we're not doing this long distance, is work on the 16th notes. Okay. What I tend to hear is the first of the two is emphasized more than the second. The second one almost gets lost. So if you think of, and I wrote this down here and I'll give you an exercise. If you think of aiming for the longer notes and pushing the 16th notes one after another, da da da, da da da. The first one is da da da. Da-da-da. Usually the second one kind of gets lost that way. And that tends to be pretty much all the way through your playing. Really nice tone. It's very, very pretty. And your technique, other than that little concept of articulation, is very, very nice. Okay. The other thing I'd like to have you do is be more aware of low D. You have a fair amount of this piece. What's wrong with that now? Yeah, did you do that? No. And because you have some of those octaves too, it happens right here, for example. These octaves aren't in tune. The D on fourth line is flat. Now we just have to use the lip to get that up to pitch a little bit. But this D is sharp. So if we have sharp on the bottom and flat on top, our octave isn't an octave anymore. Okay, it's kind of gotten scrunched. So we really need to get that low D down and then try to get that upper D up. One of the things you can do to make the upper D go higher is just raise your eyebrows. I don't know why it works, but it does. If you question why, it just does. Okay? And then that other spot here, then C sharp is even worse. Okay, so we could get the third valve slide out here, or a combination of 1 and 3, because you got the saddle on the front here, but then we need to bring it back in, because once we move to 2 and 3 combinations, then it's going to be too flat. Does that make sense? So those are minor little variations. But the articulation thing is something I think that would really be helpful for you. here's an exercise for you. Take this with. Da 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 da. And think of a slight crescendo through each one. So we're aiming for the long note. Okay? Practice with the metronome. The other thing you could do is practice double tonguing. You know double tonguing?
Yeah, I've been trying to
Okay,
get that.
and here's a good exercise for that.
I have
Okay?
some exercises for that. I just didn't get it in time for it.
Okay, that's fine. But that will help. Learning the double tongue actually helps your single tongue sound better. Strangely enough, it does. And here's, this is a pattern you can do. Now do it on all of these notes so we extend the range out. Now you can do it on others too, but this gives you something to start from, okay? Use a metronome. Do you have one? If not, get one. Okay, they're not that expensive anymore. And practice it at a slower tempo first and really listen to each note. Wynton Marsalis, does that name ring a bell to you?
Yeah.
Okay, Wynton Marsalis is the best trumpet player in the world. He's amazing, okay? He spent, as a child, and it may have happened more than once, about 8 hours one day playing G over and over again. He sat in a corner with his instrument pointed toward the wall and played G for 8 hours. Can you imagine how boring that is? Well, why did he do that? Well, he's a little peculiar anyhow. But he did that because he wanted that G to sound perfect every time he played it, and it to be the same every time he played it. Now, I'm not suggesting you do that because you've got a life, right? But practice this kind of an articulation pattern so that we hear those notes very, very pretty on every one of them. Because you have such a nice sound, you want to hear every note be